Hi, this is Madupe Angel Walker conducting the Teacher-Student Writing Conference, in which this was the assignment that I chose to model for English 607. I have here with me my son, who's also an up-and-coming middle school student, Jabri Walker. Say hi, Jabri.
Hello.
He will be the example student for this project. All right, to begin, the learning goals that you all should learn or should know after watching this video are what a teacher-student conference, writing conference is, the purpose of a teacher-student writing conference, how to compare and contrast previous notions or prior knowledge and the lack thereof with that learned from the video, apply the form, strategies, and or tools exhibited throughout this presentation, and how to utilize time effectively with the student, placing emphasis on the writing process. The learning activities. There's a conference script with questions involved. There's also an Envisionist guide and student writing example here. Okay. For my introduction, I would like to define the following. A student writing conference is one-on-one time with or for the teacher and the student to enhance the student's writing skills, whereby he or she can raise questions or concerns along with give suggestions and interests regarding writing. In other words, this is a special time for the teacher and the student to place emphasis on writing skills from any genre of the English language, or literature rather, any scope of English. The role of the teacher. It's the opportunity to explain writing strategies, discuss the strengths and weaknesses of students' work, plan, and examine future work. Fostering strong student-teacher interaction. And so basically, we're here for the student. The role of the student, however, is to feel safe and comfortable enough to voice their interest and or questions that he or she might not otherwise have the opportunity or might not otherwise say. They have the opportunity to feel safe, voicing suggestions as well as feedback regarding their writing. So in other words, the teacher-student conference has to deal with one-on-one time with the teacher and the student, in which they can enhance the student, however, writing skills in this particular time. All right. Help elicit students' voice, thereby enhancing their craft. The purpose is time for the student to grow as an effective writer and perfect his or her writing style. So, in other words, where class time may be facilitated in a way that the teacher can teach, this time is basically given for the student. All right, and we're going to give an example of the form of conference. First of all, place and location. As you can see here, we are actually in a setting of our mother's home, and in reality, depending on the grade level, usually the conference, if one-on-one, and I say if because it can be dealt with a couple of students, but we're talking about one-on-one, this will take place usually in an office space, or if you're teaching college students, or in classroom time after school. But mainly the idea is that it's in an intimate setting with the teacher and the student. All right, we're going to go ahead with our example. I have a script here with questions created, and you need a script for discussion. In this particular situation, my son, who's the example student, Jabri, who has written a poem for us. Jabri, could you tell us the title of your poem?
Two Best Friends.
Okay. The title of his poem is called Two Best Friends. In this example, you, the teacher, would have already read it, and I have read his poem, and I will ask him some sample questions regarding the poetry. All right. Well, Jabri, in your poem, Two Best Friends, why did you choose that topic in particular?
Because at school, my friend Marshall, we really get along.
Okay, so you have a best friend named Marshall, and that's what. Okay, very good. All right. I myself have some friends, and I like to write about the same subject.
You've seen Marshall.
I have, and I like Marshall. He's a good friend. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Is there anything that you might want to point out, or any questions that you have for me regarding your poem?
No.
None whatsoever?
No.
Okay. All right. What are some of the elements of poetry in general?
It doesn't always have to rhyme. It can be something. It can be anything you want. There's different types of poetry: free verse, concrete, and etc.
Okay, very good. So as you can see, he's well rounded in the knowledge of poetry to understand the elements. Also, however, if you did have a certain or a particular type of poem, which one would your poem fit in? Is this free verse or would it be a rhyme? What kind of poem do you have?
Free verse.
Okay, so yours is free verse.
Yes, free verse is more. What's the word I'm looking for? Free.
Okay, very good. All right, well, with your free verse, I looked over your poetry and I did see some rhyme, however, which was really good. But if I had any suggestion, I would just suggest that even with free verse, while it's free, you just want to keep in mind a certain rhyme scheme, even if you have it and throw it in with certain words that you have, that they flow a certain way. Sometimes it's not always what you say, but how you say it. And so with your poem, you might want to emphasize how close you are with certain rhymes or certain words that rhyme. So to emphasize the closeness of your friendship, you might put your rhyming words a little closer at different places within your poem. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And I just say that because I've read it and I understand it and I like it. Okay. Well, let's see, it says, did you include any of those? You did include some of the elements. One was rhyme. All right. Next, you might want to, from here on out, ask, are there any other suggestions? And then see what else he may have to offer regarding his poetry. All right. Did you have any further suggestions you think that you can make, or with rhyming? Or just with your poetry in general? Anything else any questions for me, concerns?
No.
No? All right. Moving on from here, what you would do if this was a real teacher-student conference, I would give him another assignment in which he would write a different poem that's more structured to emphasize other elements. This was free verse, but we could make it more formal. Thank you, Jabri. You're an awesome, excellent example student.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stay here for me. All right, moving right along. What's the importance of discussion? This discussion allows the students to make connections with other forms of communication, such as speaking and listening. As he spoke, I should listen as the teacher. As I speak, he should listen, which in turn enhances the forms of writing. This goes into 21st century goals of speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Last but not least, we have our activities here in which we done an example conference, an Envisionist guide, which would be some more questions that will help you be structured. I could have given an argumentative, more formal paper as an assignment, or for him to draft his poem or redraft it using techniques or other strategies. In conclusion, when should the conference take place? Again, can be scheduled after school or outside time with students, or classroom with a group of students. Inform the student why you've met. Here, I've already told Jabri that I appreciate his time and his expertise in the poetry of writing, and hopefully he found it informative as well. And last but not least, you want to make it relative to the student, the information that he or she has given, that you two can relate. All right, there are some other points, but at this time I think I'm going to go ahead and close off. And just remember this, as a teacher, that we should be reflective facilitators for our students, always reflecting on how we influence them And we can do that by attending writing conferences ourselves. As an instructor, we need to be writers to enhance ourselves, to give students a voice so that they understand through the pen and paper that they too have a voice. And remember, this is what you want to do with your students. Make sure that they too are reflective, always constantly reviewing their writing and restructuring to be open and better writers. Well, thank you. This is Modupe Angel Walker signing out with my son, Jabri Walker, on how to conduct a teacher-student conference. Thank you.